Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Board Gaming Doctor. My name is Phil, and I'll be your Board Game Doctor today. In this video, I'm going to talk about some games that I find interesting and would put to the top of my list of games that I would want to try if I were going to Gen Con, which is taking place in a couple of weeks from now. In addition to that, and in addition to some of these games that look really interesting to me, I'm also going to be talking about a couple of games that are out this year that are also being featured at Gen Con, or some of them might even not be mentioned on this Gen Con list. And by the way, if you're not aware, there is a preview list for Gen Con 2025 on Board Game Geek. The link is you can find it by going to Board Game Geek. I'll put a link to it in the notes down below. But in any case, a lot of these games look really interesting. I don't know if, and looking, realistically looking at my situation now, just having moved, having the energy to play new games is harder to find these days. And a lot of these games I've already played, like Galactic Cruise, I've played. I've also played Nature as well, and so Luthier as well. So, I'm not going to be talking about those games that I've already played and talked about on the channel, and just to highlight the ones that look interesting to me, and highlight the ones that I feel like I would most realistically get to the table in some fashion within the next couple of months or so. And talk about those, because if I go back and look at some of my other types of videos that I've done for this, as well as for Essen, which will come out in a couple of months, the ratio of games that I actually have played, even a year after the video is released, to the ones that that I haven't, is usually pretty small, right? Like I really don't get a lot of these games that I am interested in to the table. And so, things could change. And now that I'm in a new place, perhaps I'll meet some people that I can more easily access some of these games in the future. But in any case, let's just go through a list of games, whether they're on this list or not. Just talking about some games that I feel like I really should play and that I'm really interested in playing. All right, so the way that I'm going to talk about this, I think I'll just go through this in one take and informally just kind of go through my thoughts on some of these games and why they are making my list. And as I mentioned before, the majority of these games are found on the preview list. I'm pretty sure everything here is on that list. If not for purchase, rather, some of these might be demo only. But one game that is available for purchase as well as presentation is Vantage. And let's just talk about these two games. These are both Stonemaier games that are out this year, Vantage and Finsspan. Finsspan is interesting because it was really cute. I went to the local board game store not too long ago with my children, and my oldest and my youngest as well, but my oldest pointed out that there was this game about fish, and she's really into marine life, and she saw the cover of this game and thought it looked really cool, and then when I took it and opened it up, and there was a demo game of Finsspan there, and we were looking at the cards and the board and everything, and she was enamored by it. And I obviously do own Wingspan and have played Wormspan, and so it's natural for me to at least try Finsspan. I haven't had the chance to do this yet, but I am hopeful that Finsspan delivers for me in a way that Wingspan almost does. In my anecdotal testing, or play, not play testing, but like play experience with Wingspan, is that Wingspan hits really well in complexity for teaching new players and everything, but for the time length that it requires to play, it's often a little long for what is comfortable to me. I don't know about everyone else who I've played with, but I know that Finsspan is a somewhat lighter version, a unique version of Wingspan, but lighter nonetheless. And so I hopefully think that, it says it can play in an hour, and I hope that is true, even at higher player counts. And that might be my go-to, uh, game that I would introduce new players to the system of Wingspan, which features a lot of individualized cards and engine building, etc. And so Finnspan hopefully fits that, but thematically I know it will be a hit with my family, and that's something that I am interested in. Vantage is another game directly designed by Jamie Stegmaier, the owner of Stonemaier, which is not very unique, but somewhat unique amongst these types of games, these exploration type of games where you cooperatively explore a planet, but everyone has limited communications because you crash land on different portions of the world and are trying to explore and share expertise amongst each other through the communications to achieve the goals that you try to find. And so it's very much an explorative Breath of the Wild type of experience, from video games in the board game fashion. This one, obviously catches my eye because this is Stegmaier's venture into these types of games that is unique amongst the catalog that is offered at Stonemaier. But it also resembles a game that I have yet to play that I want to, that's in the top 100 of all time, which is Sleeping Gods, which is very reminiscent of this type of game as well. And so I'm hopeful to get a chance to try this at least and see if it's engaging enough for me. It's not the type of game that I would gravitate towards over and over again, but it might be a game that I would play over and over again to experience the story, the art, and the sensations, the things that you naturally find out throughout the game. If there are any plot twists or really interesting things that you come across during your gameplay. I think it would be fun. In the video game world, as a tangent, I've really had a chance to dive into Hollow Knight. Once again, a game that is inspired by my daughter, who thinks the bugs are really cute and wants to watch gameplay of it. And so, in addition to wanting to play it and show it off to my daughter, I've become invested as well. And so Vantage, I think, in the board game realm might fill that niche as well for me and be interesting enough to merit repetitive plays. So I'm excited about that. Next is Lightning Train. So this one caught my eye because of the designer Paul Dennen, who is the designer of Dune Imperium, which is a game that I have played many times digitally with my family members. And this game, just from the look of it, there may or may not be like a pick up and deliver type of experience here, but mechanically, but it kind of gives me the vibes of Nucleum, which is a game from 2 years ago that I really enjoyed, but with more of a deck building pool or like a bag building type of gameplay to facilitate the actions that you take in this game. So not much else is known to me, about how this game plays other than what is mentioned here thematically. But I am a fan of the way that deck building is handled in Dune Imperium, and I am a fan of the semi-cooperative experience of Nucleum and Brass, and wonder if this game would live up to that type of experience as well, utilizing deck or bag building as the mechanism of how you take your actions. So I know this is on a lot of people's lists, and I suppose it's on mine as well. Next is the Game Makers. Now this game is going to be demoed at Gen Con and won't be released until next year. But if I get the chance to play this, I think this will be a really fun game, mostly for its theme, because you are racing to build the greatest collection of classic board games, right? Like Wingspan. So it looks like you're going to have components that resemble these games, like Wingspan, Brass, Agricola, etc. I think I found Agricola in here as well in the picture, which might be the only picture that we, nope, just kidding, that I thought we had, but it looks like we have more. And so, yeah, it's really cool that you have an ode to a lot of these naturally, popular board games. This would be set up perfectly for expansions to promote or celebrate other board games as well. And hopefully all the mechanisms gel well together. And this kind of is reminiscent of another game that I enjoy, which is Rolling Realms by Jamie Stegmaier, that celebrates a lot of these games as well. And so in that game, there are a lot of mechanical celebrations as well, and representations in the game. This may be more flavorful than mechanical. I don't know if this game would utilize a lot of the mechanisms or highlight some of them in these games. It seems like this is mostly for the experience of having these games in your collection, similar to what is the game? Not Age of Comics, but Comic Heroes. The drafting game where you're collecting comics, Marvel comics, and so I feel like it's thematically and mechanically going to resemble that game more so than Rolling Realms. But hopefully, this game not only will it be a celebration, but it will also make thematic sense and be interesting for gameplay as well, and strategically. So I'm really excited about that. Now, this game I talked about last year. This was a promotion done during Essen of last year. This was Sunnavalo. This is by Andreas Odendahl, who is one of the designers of La Granja and Planta Nubo. And I think this kind of gives me vibes of Planta Nubo, but for a 2-player experience. It features a lot of card play and resource management, and so when I saw it on the list, I believe another publisher. So it was originally published by the Game Builders last year, but now it looks like Capstone, is picking up the game and having this be printed in English here in the States. And so I'm excited to see this game perhaps get some more light. It looks really interesting, and I hope I get the chance to try this game out as well. Way down the list, I found a game that I tried on Board Game Arena that I really enjoyed, and this is just another promotion of this game, which is Naishi. This is a 2-player card game, more abstract in nature, where you are drafting these cards from the middle and placing them into a tableau. You have some that are face down, not pictured here, and the goal is to draft and discard cards in an arrangement to make these cards score the most points as possible for yourself. And so there's a lot of interaction in drafting cards before someone else does, and arranging them as such to benefit yourself. And there are some other points to this game that you can you spend these action points or what have you to draw 2 cards or to discard something. So a really neat strategic game that's not long. It's not terribly complex, but it was a lot of fun for what it is. And so having this be featured on the Gen Con list, I thought I would just talk about it again and hopefully point someone towards this game on Board Game Arena if you find this interesting and want to try it out. Another game that I talked about was Nata. So this one I played last year, I believe, when it was on Kickstarter as a demo, and it left me really interested and hyped about this game. This is a worker placement game that it's not a deck builder, but it's more of the style of like Ark Nova and Terraforming Mars, where you're playing cards for icon, collection. Not necessarily set collection, but you're playing a lot of cards, individualized cards for points and end game abilities, during ongoing abilities as well, but also utilizing a worker placement style of experience, a little bit of track advancement as well. all in the theme of the like a post-apocalyptic setting where animals now rule the earth. And so I really enjoyed this game. I think this is a hit. Well, it was a hit for me because it uses a lot of mechanisms that I find very interesting and strategic. It's the right kind of strategic for me, with all of these different cards that you're trying to combo together and build out, as well as the efficiency of knowing what to put your worker on first and trying to block others or get there before someone else does, that kind of thing. So I'm excited for this game to be expanded upon and reach a larger audience now that it's been, I think, hopefully it's been funded and distributed, but if not, hopefully this goes to retail or something so other people can experience it as well. Age of Galaxy, the second edition. So this is a game by Jeffrey CCH, a designer that I am a fan of, and I've played Age of Galaxy and have reviewed it on this channel, if not this channel, then the podcast. But this game is a kind of a different edition and setting for the game of Age of Civilization, which is a game that I highly enjoy. But this utilizes more, mechanisms and things that more resemble a Space 4X experience. And so it's like a tiny epic, quote unquote type of game, a small box, very small box edition of a Space 4X. And that is the approach for Jeffrey CCH in this type of genre of a game. And the second edition improves on the solo mode as well as makes some tweaks here and there. And so I'm excited for this to have some new art, a new presentation, and it'll be cool to see what differences are in this game. I'm not as well versed in this game as I am with Age of Civilization, but this looks really good, and hopefully it gets to a lot more tables because I really enjoyed it. Furnace Duel is also on the preview list. It is a 2-player version of Furnace. Now this caught my eye because after my video last week of Weeknight Euros, after thinking about it, reading some of the comments as well, which I'm very appreciative of, and will want to try out some of those games that you have mentioned in the comment section of that video. But Furnace was one of those games that I feel like would fit that list as well. It's a very quick auctioning type of game, engine building type of game that you can play very quickly. It looks like this one you can play very quickly as well for 2 players in 30 to 60 minutes. But other than that, I don't know much about the mechanism differences in this game versus the base game, which I thought played well at 2 players anyway. But I'm excited to see what differences are here, and will look for more information as needed. And then finally, an expansion to end this out. Of course, it's SETI Space Agencies, the first expansion for SETI, a game that I am a big fan of. And in this expansion, let's see what is added for sure. So quick start cards, it's kind of like a prelude type of experience to jumpstart your game of SETI with some of these cards. I think there are some more aliens. Yep, 3 new alien species, 40 new project cards, which are, I love the thematic nature. This is one of the most thematically sound Euro games that I've ever played, which is why it's physically in my collection, and I love pulling this out and playing. And so this is not a terribly huge expansion, but it offers some more variability in addition to these quick start cards to make the game progress faster from the beginning. So I'm really excited about this, and hopefully we'll get the chance to demo this and talk about it with you guys at some point. And so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That happened to be 10 games and expansions that I talked about, and so therefore this game will be a top 10 games that I'm excited about for Gen Con 2025, as well as for this year in general. I know that we've had more news and opportunities to play games like Finnspan and like games that I've already played, like Age of Galaxy and Natera, but also upcoming games that are new, like Lightning Train, the Game Makers, and this new expansion of SETI that I'm super excited for. And so hopefully, these I think these games have the highest chance to make it to my table, whether it's physically or digitally, and for me to talk about on the channel. But of course, we will be, we'll see how the dust settles and which games kind of rise to the top and have been supported by the majority of people who have been able to play it, especially those who go to Gen Con to experience it. And we'll see where we go from there, and I'll make a similar video for Essen in about a month or two. So thank you for listening or watching. Let me know what games you're excited about from this Gen Con preview list, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care.